Boo, 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 boo. And welcome. Hey, it's Jeremy with the Genesee County Compassion Club show. How's everybody doing today? It is freezing cold outside, but I'm glad to be back here in the studios at allpointstv.com. I've got John making it happen here at the studio. How's it going, John?
Doing really well.
He's doing really well. You got a mouthful of food back there.
Now I'm not eating that yet. But it's like I'm waiting until the show is over so I won't, be chomping in people's ears.
Sure. Well, he's enjoying a delicious, tasty sandwich from the Holistic Center. Props to the ladies over there kicking it. Today, I think John's special is a Italian. Does that sound right, John?
I haven't looked at it yet because I want to wait till I can enjoy it. Yeah.
I think you got the Italian sandwich today.
Yeah. No, that's good. Those
toasted.
I never had a bad one yet from there.
Yeah, no doubt. So thank you, Erica, Teresa, for kicking it over there. If you guys haven't had any tasty food from the Holistic Center, you got to go over next door and check it out or order yourselves a sandwich. They're delicious and only $5. So deli fresh, all from the farmer's market. It's killer. It's delicious. All right, hey, it's good to be back in the studio. We're back here. It's 2016. It's January 13th. We're kicking it here, and just want to get you guys up to date, let you know what's happening with medical marijuana in Michigan. Give you a little bit of an update as to what's happening down at the Genesee County Compassion Club, and basically keep you guys up to date, right? First of all, I want to make mention of an event that's going on. This is a charity event that was happening to be put on by the Humane Society. It's called Pins for Pets, and it is Saturday, January 23rd. I believe the event's already sold out, but it is a bowling event. It's raising money for the Humane Society, and I know we've got quite a few of our club members that are attending, and I'm looking forward to it. It should be a fun family event, and hopefully we'll see a lot of you guys down there. And of course, we're always glad to be helpers of the Genesee County Humane Society. We were able to do a donation to them in December. You guys saw our Christmas tree in the back. I think there was like over $1,000 worth of dog treats and toys stuck on the tree. And then in addition to that, we were able to give them some money and some help. But, you see all these ads on TV, just to help the babies, help the puppies. You guys are doing that, all right? So the next time you hear Sarah McLaughlin crying away in the background, you can tell her put a sock in it. You did your part, and you guys definitely help out. So we're doing the bowling event, Pin for Pets. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's $20 fee. Like I said, I believe it's sold out, but you can check out if you really absolutely want to get in still and you didn't get to sign up. Check it out with the Humane Society or up at the front desk there at the Compassion Club and see if they can squeeze you in. You never know if there's going to be a last-minute substitution or something like that. But at any rate, it's a good event. It's from 6:30 to 8:30. Again, the money goes to help out the Genesee County Humane Society. So I'm looking forward to getting the kids out bowling. Should be a fun time. So a good time for you guys to get out as well. And, right now, obviously, it's wintertime. It's cold. A lot of people don't want to get out of the house. This is a good reason to go out and get out. So another good reason to get out of the house coming up here in January is our soup kitchen. We'll be doing that again here. It's the last Friday of the month. I believe this month is the 29th. So if you can join us down at the North End Soup Kitchen, we could use your help. We'll be serving out the dishes there. Usually get down there about 2:30 and you're done by about 5:30. So serve out food to the needy, and usually wintertime's busiest time. Folks are looking for a nice hot meal, and it's a genuine pleasure to be able to give it to them. It's a blast. So help us out then with the soup kitchen if you can. All right, as far as for events, that's about it for now is what's going on. 2016 looks to be a busy year. I know we've already been talking down at the club about our 420 party, which will be happening obviously on April 20th, but we're already looking at what kind of things can we do, what can we try to put on to try to give to you guys and make it fun for everybody. And of course, we're always trying to outdo last time, so we're working on it, but that's awesome. We're looking forward to it. As far as other things, our testing unit is on track. We've been busting out tests lately, seen some spectacular results, and if you guys haven't done it lately, get your meds tested. If your patients are in the club and you want to know what the meds have, you'll ask for test results. This is the best way, and I think that, future legislation, whatever, it may even require it. So it's something that it's a good idea to get in the habit of right now. At least testing, having one test per batch, I think is probably a good recommendation. So, every time you necessarily harvest a batch, test it out, find it out. If you've got multiple strains that you're harvesting at the same time, it can be a little bit, cumbersome to get it all tested at once. You don't have to do that. You can spread it out. However, if you do them all at once, maybe we can give you a discount. It's really up to you how you want to work it. But I think the important thing is that us as caregivers and patients start demanding test results so that we know what it is that we're putting into our bodies, and we can start to figure out exactly what it is that's going to be best for administering the relief for our medicinal needs. You can track that, you can figure that out, and the way to start doing that is with some test results. So other than just anecdotal, we know you're anecdotally testing all the time, so which is a good thing. But anyway, that's kicking it. Appreciate it, Sean and Jason, for kicking it over there. And I think it's pretty awesome that we have that machine, so let's put it to use. You know what I'm saying? All right, what other stuff we got going on here? There's obviously we got our state legislature. They'll be getting back to work here shortly. They've been on Christmas vacation. They take a long vacation, longer than your kids even get, but that's how politics works. So they'll be getting back to work here shortly, and I think the best time for politicians is when they are on vacation, but we're going to need to keep track of them. There's still plenty of groups out there that are interested in getting the current medical marijuana laws that have been proposed. These groups out there with the money, they want to see these go through. It's very much a monopoly type system, even though our senators that are trying to back it are calling it not a monopoly. It's an alcohol tiered system. I should say it's like the alcohol tiered system in the state, and it's a very aggressive business model, something that's not going to be very conducive to the Main Street type of person, and I think that's really what we need to be supportive here. So I know that's what a lot of you guys want to see out there, is an opportunity for future, and having a corporation take over for you is really no future at all. And I think that's what we need to convey to our senators. When they get back in session here, we're going to need to be watching them, keeping track of what they're doing. And, of course, we'll keep you in tune right here on the podcast and let you know what's going on with them as they maneuver through the sessions. So I don't expect them to be voting anytime soon. A lot of times when they get back to the office after break, they're starting up new initiatives. They've got new issues to deal with. I mean, you guys have been hearing about in the news, nonstop, everything to do about Flint's water situation, so they'll probably be talking about that at the legislative level. Who knows what they may come up with, but there's a lot of different things that they're going to be handling this year other than marijuana, believe it. So not to say that they're not going to be looking at that issue. There's certainly a lot of groups out there, like I said, that have money, that have influence, that are pushing to have these bills put through, and a lot of times that money will influence them to move along. And so we're going to need to keep track of what they're doing, and hopefully you guys can make an influence and try to make sure that the change includes you as well. As far as other changes coming up this year, we've talked in length about the different ballot proposals. Currently, there's 2 ballot proposals available. One of the ballot proposals this last week just simply withdrew their ballot language. They're no longer collecting signatures, and that is the group, the MRC, which is the Michigan Responsibility Council. This particular petition was for the adult legalization of cannabis, but it was a monopoly type model. It would only allow you as an individual to grow 2 plants, and all of your material you'd have to buy from their licensed facilities. So not a very good proposal, not the type of thing you want to see. Very similar to what was just recently voted down in Ohio. That particular ballot language has been withdrawn, and they are no longer collecting signatures. That's not to say that it couldn't come back around and that this group couldn't put their ballot back out there again and start recollecting. But at the current time, they are not collecting any signatures, which hopefully means that they won't pursue it any further. The other 2 groups that are remaining out there that are collecting signatures, and they are both for adult legalization of marijuana. One is Am I Legalized? The other was Abrogate Prohibition. So I'd encourage you to check out both these proposals. They're both, require a lot of signatures. They need a lot of help, and they're both grassroots type movements. So they don't have a big, huge financial backer behind them, and there's no, DeVos in the background that's basically going to just write a check and make it happen. This is only going to happen is if people get out there and actually, get involved and understand what's happening. So the Am I Legalized, I know, is running out of time. I know that it has an extended ballot gathering signature period that they're trying to get through, and that this is also a requirement in the law of how they actually gather signatures. So it'll be interesting to see how this plays out. Hopefully it'll be something that works for them. I know their attorney, Jeffrey Hank, has been quoted many times in the paper, and he definitely seems to be an expert in the field of not just marijuana policy, but also in the field of ballot signature initiatives. So hopefully they do get things hammered out, and hopefully it is an update also to how we gather signatures here in the state for future ballot initiatives. It takes a long time to gather up 375,000 signatures or 225,000 signatures, depending on what kind of ballot you're proposing. You can imagine the type of work and money that's required to get that done. So oftentimes there's delays in processing, and the law itself of how it is presented is sort of antiquated and hasn't really been adjusted to reflect the upgrades in modern technology and the ability to say, hey, yeah, I've got a signature here. We can do that pretty quickly nowadays with modern technology, and the old stuff just relies on antiquated methods. So hopefully they'll be able to modify their practices for that, not just for the marijuana legalization, like I said, but for other legalization, or for other, I should say, ballot proposals in the future. Citizen initiated ballot proposals are a pretty neat thing. When you can actually say, well, I think this should happen, and if I gather enough signatures, people agreeing with me, then that could become law. That's a pretty special thing about our government to have, and it doesn't happen very often. So I think we should be able to continue to have that and be supportive of it. So, all right, as far as that goes, that's it for Michigan. We have, that's plenty, obviously. It's 2016. We'll have, medical is one thing and legalization is another. And I think that's a distinction that we have to make. And it's one that's going to be oftentimes confused throughout the year. Folks are going to be talking about, well, what about this change? What about that change? And not realizing the course that each one of those needs to take and the differences between the two. So that's one thing that I know I want to have you guys focus on this year, so that hopefully when you're talking to your friends and family and they're saying, well, what's going on? You can be the purveyor of truth. So as far as on a national level, boy, oh boy, this is a presidential election year. And I don't think you're going to see a whole lot of policy change in this type of year, simply because a lot of folks might say, well, Obama might do something on the way out. I don't think so, because Obama's way out is really just the path of the Democrats, and they've got to make sure that the path is clear for the next person to come in. And if you haven't noticed, that's how it always works. So I don't think anybody's going to go, doing some crazy thing at the end of the run and mess up somebody else's chances to get in. That's kind of status quo. So people usually have that kind. I don't think that's an active, sensible argument when people say, "Oh yeah, this president will do this on his way out because he don't care anymore." Well, the party kind of controls the people anyways, and if they're not following in line, we know what happens. So that doesn't make sense. But at any rate, it is a presidential election year, so obviously that's where a lot of the media is going to be focused at, and I don't expect anything to happen as far as our federal drug rescheduling. I don't expect anything to happen with the laws. The only thing that I have seen moderate pressure from lobbyist groups has been the regards to banking industry changes. So you have 4 different states out there right now that have legalized adult use amongst 25 other states that are medical marijuana use. Obviously, it's a lot of business across the country that the banks would like to tap into, and now their lobbyists are starting to put pressure on the politicians and say, hey, we don't know what you plan on doing with the rest of the marijuana policy, but as far as dealing with us, can we take these guys' money? Can we get that law changed? And, obviously the banks have a lot of power in D.C., so that could be something that might happen this year. But, will that be something that affects other parts of the policy, like the federal drug scheduling and the other parts of the law? That yet remains to be seen. So ultimately, it seems that laws change most when money gets tossed around, and the only money that I'm seeing right now is from the banks. So hopefully that would be a positive change. It could allow for the progression of the industry, progression of the business, not just here in Michigan, but across the nation, of course. And it could be a good thing. So we'll see. We have yet to see. But as it is, that's it for now. That's the news this week. Wanted to keep you guys, like I said, up to date, let you know what's been happening. I hope you guys can stay warm. One thing I wanted to give you guys a tip this week for all you growers out there that are out there going to the grow store, getting your newts and your biostimulants and all those wonderful things that you use on your plants. You want to make sure that you don't leave it in your car too long, because a lot of that stuff isn't really good if it freezes. So you want to make sure that you don't give it the opportunity to freeze, especially things that are like biostimulants where they have active organic living matter in there. It doesn't do well if it gets cold. So keep that in mind. It's just a little tip for this week, something that I had to remind myself of as I was just about to go to the grocery store before I came to do the podcast. And I said, whoa, wait a minute. Can't have my Nitrozyme freezing. So I'll be going right after the show. So maybe I'll see you there. Who knows? All right, guys. Thanks for joining me this week on the podcast. If you haven't been down the Genesee County Compassion Club in a while, make sure you get down there and check it out. It is a happening place, and we've got some fantastic new stuff that you might not have seen before, and it's always a good time. So we'd love to see you there. The guys who are already down there chilling, I hope you have a wonderful day. I hope you feel better after you medicate, and we'll see you here next week on the Genesee County Compassion Club show. Thanks for being with me this week, John. AllPointsTV.com. You guys rock. Make sure you check out the other podcasts that they host here for other important news that's happening in the Flint and Genesee County area. And as always, it's a pleasure to be with you. You guys have a great week. We'll see you.